Today is a very special day. It's the last Friday in 2023. It's the last weekend before we get into a new year. It's the last business morning for 2023. So you bet it's going to be a memorable one. You don't want to miss any minute of it. You're welcome. Good morning. Welcome to Business Morning. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Now let's get to business now. Oil prices are set to end 2023 about 10% lower, the first annual decline in 2 years after geopolitical concerns, production cuts, global measures to rein in inflation triggered wild fluctuations in prices. Brent crude futures were up 48 cents, that's about 0.6% at $77.63 a barrel. The last trading day of 2023, again, while the U.S. Texas Intermediate crude futures were trading at 37 cents. That's about 0.5% higher at $72.14. On Friday, oil prices stabilized after falling 3% the previous day as more shipping firms prepare to transit the Red Sea route. Major firms had stopped using the Red Sea route after Yemen's Houthi militant group began targeting vessels. Still, both benchmarks are on track to close at the lowest year-end levels since 2020 when the pandemic battered demand and sent prices nose-driving. Production cuts by OPEC Plus have proved insufficient to prop up prices, with the benchmarks declining nearly 20% from their highest level this year. We come to Nigeria, where the Association of Mobile Money and Agents in Nigeria, AMBAN, is closing the year 2023 with a review of the year, as everyone is doing, and also preferring suggestions on how to make the ecosystem better in 2024. Mobile Money and Agents in Nigeria, AMBAN, is closing out the year with a review of operations in the e-payment sector for the year 2023, especially as they've been alleged to be part of the cause of cash shortage at this time, an allegation which they refute and instead share a way forward.
Institutions that are involved with payment should recognize agents as part of the ecosystem that handle cash distribution. If we have to tell ourselves the truth, more than 60% of cash distribution to the last mile is wholly relied on agents.
On that basis, we are appealing to CBN to include bank agent as another category, and the volume they should have access to should be maybe minimum of, if we are saying that an agent in a rural community is there to service minimum of 20 to 50 individuals per day. That means they should have access to the cash of 100,000 by the number of individuals. 100,000 times 20, that will be 2 million per day, or at the max, 50 times 100,000, that's about 5 million per day.
The agents are asking for more avenues to make impact and broaden financial inclusion in the country.
If you want to do any modification on your BVN today, the only bank can handle it. And very few banks can have that access. And how many people can access Nigerian banks? Coupled with the fact that our excluded communities, there are no bank branches there. The most channel or the most penetrated channel of delivery of financial services in Nigeria are excluded. They don't have these services, this enabling.
The International Monetary Fund displays the number of registered mobile money agent outlets per 1,000 kilometers square in Nigeria at 1,618.6 in 2022, and that's up from 680.9 in 2021. That's the highest in 6 years. The number of registered mobile money accounts for 1,000 adults also increased to 225.9 from 191. So it's not just reviewing the e-payment ecosystem. Let's do a general review of some high points in the economy in 2023. I put together this report. Looking at it, I think by now everybody knows those high points and the low points in Nigeria's economy in 2023, but it's captured in this report. 2023 began with Nigerians queuing for hours and at other scenarios paying for cash because of naira scarcity, a spillover from the 2022 naira redesign policy, which the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, had initiated in October 2022.
You will all recall that on the 26th of October 2022, the Central Bank of Nigeria received the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari to redesign the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira Nigerian banknotes. By that approval, the redesigned banknotes will circulate concurrently with the old notes up to January 31, 2023, after which time, or after which date, the old note loses their legal tender status.
This created uncertainty in an economy where cash remains king.
We are really facing a very critical time as manufacturers now.
In November 2023, the Supreme Court ordered that the old notes remain legal tender indefinitely to be used alongside the new notes. However, this has not done enough to allay the fears of cash shortage as incidents of scarcity again resurfaced in December 2023. While Nigerians were dealing with the economic and social disruptions that came with the policy, on the one hand, they had to gear up for the general elections, which had been fixed for between February and March 2023.
Tinubu Bola Ahmed is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
And just when certainty and stability was returning with the conclusion of the elections, the President Bola Tinubu made an announcement which had been hanging in the air.
First subsidy is gone.
The consequences of the removal of subsidy was not limited to hiking petrol prices, but as expected, it spread to food prices. Headline inflation rose to 22.41% in May from 22.22% in April 2023, while food prices increased to 24.82% in May from 24.61% in April. These have since increased to 28.2% for the headline inflation, and food inflation is at 32.84%, both for November 2023.
In any reasonable person's mind, that Nigeria needs to remove the subsidy to remove the drag on our revenue of the fiscal drag we have through the subsidy. But the point is that on whose shoulder will the hurt be? Should the government continue to behave as if there's no problem?
Another major pronouncement of the president was the unification of the various foreign exchange windows.
Central Bank must work towards a unified exchange rate.
However, this has been difficult to achieve, as the naira to the dollar, which had gone from less than 500 naira for a dollar in May 2023 to more than 1,000 naira to a dollar by December 2023. The continued squeeze in the FX space and drop in the value of the naira has discouraged the operations of foreign companies, as some have either closed shop or changed operating model to import only. The pinch is also felt in the aviation sector, where according to the International Air Transport Association, IATA, as of August 2023, Nigeria accounts for $783 million of airlines blocked funds, with the threat of foreign airlines exiting the country still on. The hike in jet fuel was another aftermath of the shortage of FX and drop in the value of the naira. The bright side for 2023, however, lies in the Nigeria's equity market. Investors seem to embrace the victory of President Tinubu as benchmark indicator performance surged from 50,000 level to above 72,000 level in December 2023. As 2023 draws to a close and Nigerians look forward to 2024, they expect to get some benefit from some of those economic reforms of President Bola Tinubu, which has been applauded by both the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, such as benefits from the removal of fuel subsidy and the unification of the FX windows, among others. Ini John Mekwa, Channels Television News. Expectedly, everyone is doing a review in the last days of 2023. Now, before then, we did see the AMBAN Association of Mobile Money Agents. They also did a review for the year and saw some areas which they think could be improved upon. Well, let's talk more about the e-payment ecosystem right here with former Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria Interbank Settlement System PLC, that's NIPS. He was the CEO from 1996 to 2011. So I guess this is a whole load of information for us. Mr. Paul Lawal, thank you so much and compliments of this season.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So you were in charge of NIPS, overseeing, this area from 1996 to 2011, a long time. Could you compare that period and now? We know that a lot of lapses came to the fore in 2020 with the COVID, and we saw, a lot of downtime. But share with us your observations from 1996. How much have we improved in the country?
Yeah, thank you. Nigeria has moved very much forward in the electronic payment space. 1996, everything that has to do with electronic payments has to do with technology, has to do with computer technology, that is, has to do with telecommunications, has to do with banking systems, and also what you call payment system applications. Now, there is no way you can drive an effective electronic payment without good technology, especially telecoms technology and computer technology, IT. Back in 1996, Nigeria just had 40 lines. 40,000 mobile lines, 40,000 mobile lines. And so that cannot do much in electronic payment. So we had to grow from the paper-based interbank system into real-time system that we have now. Also then, clearing systems used to be like between states, can take you 3 weeks. Because the means to communicate the transactions electronically was not available. Telecoms was that, mobile phone was not. It was just Nitel that had a few lines for the whole country, like 40,000 lines, and so there was limitation where we started. So we moved from paper-based, and then we took it from into paper and electronic. Then what we now have that what we call real-time payment. What we call NIPS. That's Nigeria Interbank Nigeria Interbank Instant Payment System. Okay. Now you will notice your check leaves. You have some lines underneath your check leaves. These are called MICR lines, magnetic ink character recognition lines. For many years, we're carrying those check leaves, and those lines were irrelevant. So we're printing them, but they did not help to facilitate quick payments of interbank or any check-based payments until the telecoms area got opened up, and then we now created what we called NACS, Nigeria Automated Clearing House, NACHS, Nigeria Automated Clearing House. And that Nigeria Automated Clearing House captured all the lines, all the magnetic lines on your checks. So today, if you give somebody a check, in 2 days, the third day you can draw the money. Before that could take you 3 weeks between two states. All over the nation now, anywhere in Nigeria, you can get your money on the third day. So that took care of check. Interbank payments, anytime you do any transaction, if it's not your own bank, then it means two banks must move money between themselves. They don't really move cash. All those transactions go through NIPS, and NIPS using electronic means make sure that these funds move between banks. And today, we have one of the fastest interbank payments even in the world.
Do we really?
In the world.
Do we really? Because
yes,
I still experience some transactions between banks where you'll be debited and, you know, the receiving party has not received, you know. You still have those downtime and failed transactions or even delayed transactions. I don't know when you say we are the fastest in the world. That's difficult to imagine.
No. I'm talking of the system in place.
Okay.
Attained the fastest pace you can get. That's what called Nigeria instant payment system, instant payment. But let me tell you, there is no way you can do electronic payment, like I said earlier, without depending on telecoms, without depending on the capacity to process, with the computer capacity. So I also had personal experience over the weekend. I did some transfers and it did not go. From my bank, it did not go to the location, you know. All of these are dependent on the national infrastructure, okay? We had, but with the pressure on the system, there is a need for the complementary facilities to be improved on. Not that the system is not in place. You understand me?
So help us to understand now. When a transaction is initiated,
okay,
and then a party is debited, but the receiving party does not have it, what happens? What's going on? And sometimes it doesn't get rectified. People have had to forego, you know, money because of that. Sometimes, eventually, an individual has to go to a bank, you know, make complaints. And so please explain to us the process in between and what happens.
Okay. Now, as I did say, we have a faster system, but as fast as it could be, the system is in place. But how efficient is it? That's what we're talking about. Now, what happens is this: when you initiate a transaction, say you are in A bank, you want to send money to someone in B bank. Immediately you initiate that transaction, it goes into a middle system, which we call the Nigerian Central Switch. The Nigerian Central Switch was created by NIPS, Nigerian Interbank Settlement System. The Central Switch is connected to the processing system of every bank and all major clearing houses, like switches. Now, when you initiate your transfer from your bank, Bank A, that transaction goes straight to the central system, the Nigeria Central, the clearing house, the just Central Switch. The Central Switch will debit your bank because it's you that want to move money. By the way, you can only transfer, you cannot debit anybody. You can say, debit me. When you are debited, your funds are moved to another party. That's your intention. So that funds is debited to your bank and then credited to the receiving bank. That's what the central clearing house does, the central switch. Now,
who controls that central?
NIPS does that. Now, in between all the parties, there is telecoms. Because these are not physical. When you initiate the transfer from your phone, you may not even have network to get into your banking app. Sometimes some banks these days, you can't even open the app. All right? When you open the app and you do what you said you've done, the much you know is that you have executed a transaction. But has your transaction moved even to the Nigeria clearing house? Has it moved to the central switch, which is developed and managed by NIPS? Has it gotten there? You don't know. But if it even gets there, NIPS immediately nobody meddles with it. It's an automated system. NIPS will debit your bank that SUSO account number has done this, you know, will inform your system. Your system is informed automatically because the NIPS system is linked to the general ledger of your bank, of all the banks. And so your account will be debited. The receiving party in Bank B, that bank is also credited. And automatically, the system of that bank should credit the receiving person. Now, in between all of this, in all these interfaces, depend on telecoms. It depends on the the efficiency of the telecoms, the computer system, the banking application of your bank, the central switch, and also the receiving bank system as well.
But why is it that, I mean, if everything is in the middle is NIBS, and of course you have the telecoms connecting,
yes,
but it does seem that there are some banks through which you can have a more efficient service compared to some others. If they have the same infrastructure, why does it come through that way?
Now, you can be very intelligent. You can be one of the best teachers in the world, and you're teaching a class. Some of the students will do well. Some may even fail their exams. So this is how it goes. Your bank can be very efficient. The receiving bank may also be efficient in terms of their app, in terms of their processing system. But it could be they have issues with their receiving setting. Okay? So, okay, that's one. The other aspect is this: the multiplicity that is created. We're not going behind the multiplicity of participating institutions in the payment space in a very short time has led to several cross transactions that need very efficient overlays behind that needs things to move much faster than before. When we started the system, we had banks that can reach the central switch. Okay, a few banks. Other banks were queuing. Those banks we call clearing banks. Other banks were queuing behind them. Later, all banks had that space. Now we're having many payments companies that are coming up, Memo, all sorts are coming up every day. Okay, and because of this, each of them is like a system that's as good as every other party. If I am very efficient and the receiving party has an issue, then there can be a hitch. But there is no way you will transfer money your account is debited and your funds will not be, because it can be tracked. If your account is debited, then it means it has gotten into the intermediary, which is the Nigeria Central Switch. And that your bank can ask for the trail of the transaction. Under no circumstance should anybody transfer funds and then you are debited and your fund will not be refunded.
So what can someone do? Because trust me, there are so many people that go through this.
Yes.
They are debited, the receiving party has not been credited, and perhaps, of course, if you go to your account or your bank, they show you your statement, you see that you have been debited.
That's
but
correct.
The other party has not been credited. So, you don't know where to go to.
I appreciate what they're saying. That you're debited, there is no place to go other than your bank. In all situations, you will not expect individual bank customers to go to NIBS or to go to another bank. You go to your bank and your customer services your customer service, the customer service department of your bank should attend to the matter. Okay? I think in this space, there's need for regulation, further regulation. There should be a time limit if an account is debited. But the issue is, you just need to get a confirmation from the receiving bank that it has not been credited to them. And the rest should be a matter of resolving within the banking system. I must say, this is not expected to be so. It wasn't so when it got started. But, everything in Nigeria, so many companies...
You think there's fraud somewhere in between there?
No, it's not fraud. It is the fact that, like I said, so many parties. The other day I wanted to send money to a town union, and I understand the union itself is participating on the switch. The bank, the local bank, the community bank is participating on the local switch. Even in America, you have few clearing banks, but in Nigeria, that's why I said the number of companies that are facilitating payments. So many payments companies are coming in Nigeria. So many. We have over 100. It's not just banks now. Okay? And each of them must be as efficient as the other, because these are common facilities that is being shared. No matter how efficient your bank is and you execute your transaction, then it will depend on the efficiency of others for the receiver to get the funds. So what am I saying? There is a need for the telecoms, the processes between these banks, depending on the type of transactions, to come up with a certain regulations that will cause a reversal to take place in a very short time. The customer is not supposed to be involved in all these details, like you transfer money and it never moved from your account. You know, that in some cases did not even leave your bank. Some cases it debited to your bank, it never got to the receiving bank because of the interfaces between these parties.
So the banks have to live up to expectation. The banks have to, because as you said, customers cannot go to NIPS.
No.
They can only go to their banks.
Yes.
So the bank's customer service should be able to handle that. Just as we expect also from the banks that, for instance, someone's ATM card is stolen and then it's being used by another individual, and then, you even call the bank to try to stop transactions. First, you have to get to a switch or customer service. I'll tell you, okay, hold on. And while you're holding on, money is being, I think there should be a way to try to protect customers, or even if it's done, a way to, when the money is transferred, you should be able to trace it. We have BVN, we have a structure now, but banks hardly help. Is it a policy thing?
Here and there. Now, in any system, you must have regulation. You have policy, you have regulation, and within the regulation, there should be time lags and also penalties for not doing what you're supposed to do. The points you're making are very real. There are people, they lose their card. All those should be hotline. Many of them, from your bank, you want to say, I lost my card. And it will put you, if it is press 1, if you press 2, and then just put you be automated machine, you'll be talking about a machine. There may be need for a central service that can stop a card in that level. You understand? After passing through your bank, and then there things could be done. Regulation is there that once you get information, that card should be blocked. It can be done. Okay? Immediately, the information, but they must know that information is credible. That's why you go through your bank. Okay? So that is that. Number 2, in the area of not getting your credit on time, there should be a time limit in which your credit should be hanging, your transaction, your account should be debited without the counterparty receiving it. These are, fine details, which depends on telecoms, which depends on regulations, which depends on cooperation among the parties that are in the payment space.
So moving forward now to 2024, you seem happy with our pace of growth in the e-payment ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Are we doing our best? Are there some more? I know when we dig deep, you see infrastructure is also, something that should be given attention to. But are we comfortable where we are? Can we compare ourselves to our peer and say that we are actually doing well?
Yeah. Now, in terms of available infrastructure, payment infrastructure, we have it in Nigeria. But in terms of the efficiency of the payment infrastructure, there is still room for improvement, a lot of room for improvement. And this is because, like I said, the participants in the payment space have grown a lot. And you must identify each participant in all details, talk less of the transaction types. Okay? And so that there's a need for improvement. There is need for improvement in terms of the rate at which transactions are delivered, especially this kind of thing. I think that there should be central clearing, central handling of complaints. There also should be insurance for lost cards, debits and stuff. Banks should have that. I mean, in some realm, in some climes, you cannot lose money through credit card. You cannot lose money. Once it happens, the bank will have insured against that. If you give the information, from the time you give the information to your bank, you should not be liable again. So there is room for regulation. There is room for more interaction among the players in the market, for self-regulation, and also for central bank intervention.
And recently, NIB slashed their transaction fee. I must say a little bit of relief for Nigerians. We do hope that it stays that way. That was in July.
Okay.
I don't know if we're expecting another movement anytime soon.
NIB slashing transaction fee is maybe because there are more players in the space. And so when you have not many of the participation and many of the phases that your transaction go through, you don't need to know what's happening. And maybe because there's some investment going on that has to be paid for, they will slide the transaction fee. Their transaction fee will be slashed with the view of reducing the overhead overall, or reducing their own profit to allow the efficiency to be improved in between the bank, the paying bank, and the receiving bank. So much of what we need now will be to have an improvement in the telecommunications, improvement in interbank and inter-payment participants infrastructure, and a lot of that needs to, because lately we're having transactions hanging up, debits not being delivered, this not being done. That was not so. I'm sure even you would know that, like a year ago, it wasn't that.
Yeah, because demand is much now. A lot of people have turned to e-payment.
Yeah, I just told you. I just mentioned it, that many companies are in e-payment. Even this company that was doing motorcycle dispatch, OPay, it's now one of the most popular payment platforms. OPay in Nigeria started with motorcycle share, but now they may be one of the biggest, POS transaction delivery, even online accounts. Non-bank, they are not really banks, as in you have a bank.
Digital banks.
Excuse me?
Digital banks.
They're just digital banks. And with this, you see, we adopt a system, and then like Nigeria, it's like fashion. So everybody's rushing into the payment space. When you have many players, then you need to improve the interaction between these players. Because this system is such that if any component of the system it has a lapse, it will affect the whole system. So there's a need, as we're growing in the numbers of players, there's a need to find ways to fine-tune the efficiency of each of the players. I guess there's a room to play.
All right. Well, we do hope that efficiency, as you said, infrastructure is there. Is the efficient usage of that infrastructure is what we really need. We hope we'll see that in 2024.
We hope so.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paul, our former Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, PLC. Thank you for your time.
Nice to be with you.
And compliments once again. Welcome back to Watching Business Morning right here on Channels Television. Let's head to the markets now with Anite Edet. Today is the final trading. It's a lot of finals today, Anite.
I don't know
final
what to say.
Trading day.
A happy final trading day of 2023. Because almost everywhere you look at, everyone is like, yes, it's the final trading day. Banks are closing.
A very short trading day.
Exactly.
I think the market is closed about 12:30
By 12:30. And I should be there to witness the closing bell.
And I heard they have something planned today. Richard Mufedamijo
will be closing the market.
Will be closing the market for the year.
I don't think that's the first actor to close the market.
No, obviously not.
Exactly.
It's just a fun way to close the year, the trading year.
Yeah, it's not just about businessy, straight jacketed. Sometimes you just
entertainment is business.
Entertainment,
big business, showbiz.
Exactly. Right. So now let's give you the numbers. Before, of course, we're going to have our own party for the close of 2023.
Anita lets the cat out of the bag.
Okay. Just pardon my mouth. All right. Okay, so take a look at your board there. We're back at the 74,000 level for the all-share index, 0.99%, just about 1% increase. And that's in terms of Naira gain, that's about 139.34 billion Naira, but we approximated to just about 139 billion Naira. And that's added to the 40 trillion Naira that we had on the market. And this is all thanks to about 30, more than 30 gainers that we had yesterday at the close of trading session. And that's coming back from the 0.34% decline that we saw on the first post-Christmas post-Christmas Day loss that we had on Wednesday, but now we're back in the green. And now take a look at the sectoral performance. Only one red, and that's no thanks to the banking counter, down 0.22%. And then when you take a look at other counters, the greens have it, or you might call the pluses have it. Year to date, so far, Nigerian stock market, yes, it's not number one on the global stock market performance index, but it's among the top 10. That's very gladdening to hear, at about 45.37% year to date, and month to date 4.4%. So we're not doing so badly. Now, let's take a look at the other side of the market. That's the activity chart, the gainers list. This is what you saw. We had about 34 gainers, which was led by Ikeja Hotels, 10% at that price there, while the 27 losers were on the flip side. We had the shares of USCN topping that list. So for that market, while Jaiz Bank was the most traded stock by volume, and on the other hand, Zenith was the most traded stock by value. Now let's talk more about this market, where we'll be having Abiodun Adedotun, equity trader at FBN Quest, give us details about some part of this, some details about this market, particularly where we're counting this is 2 days and 13 hours to the end of 2023. So let's bring in Abiodun Adedotun, equity trader at FBN Quest. Thank you for joining us, Abiodun.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I have 3 questions, but I don't know how time would permit. But my first question will be, yes, 2023, we're wrapping it up.
Good morning, Anita.
Yeah, good morning, Abiodun. Yeah, I got you there. So now we're wrapping up 2023, and it's been quite a mixture, particularly when we look at that the market has recorded remarkable gains at 74,000 points, but that didn't come without prices to be paid, which means that we had so much delistings. So we have some delistings and some pending delistings. So now tell us, how has this delistings affected the market so far?
Yeah, Anita, on the impact of the delisting, so sad to see that we have to some businesses go up the exchange. It's not been so much because some of these things are challenges we already knew. It didn't just occur overnight. There have been warning signs over time. So pretty much it's not so surprising in terms of market cap. But of course, the impact of this delisting has been offset by a lot of positive movement due to inflationary pressure, cherry picking among bargain hunters over the course of the year.
Okay, so now that takes me to another part where I mentioned about Nigerian stock markets doing at about 45.37% at the close of Thursday's trading session. And when you compare that to, let's not go too far, but let's compare within our continent. The Egyptian stock exchange is doing so much, as high as 60%. Are we doing so badly? Because I think this is more like a 3-year high when you look at the year-to-date returns.
Not at all. I think the last time we came this close should have been 2018 or thereabout. We're not doing badly, even on the global scale. Currently, we are ranked 7 with the Argentina exchange leading all the way with over 300% return to date. We're not doing badly, and with all things being equal, we can actually fall sixth depending on how things turn out in Lusaka. So on the scale of emerging market globally, Nigeria has not done badly this year.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, so that takes me to my final question for you. Now that we've had positive for Thursday, and then the final hours of 2023, which is just about some 2 hours less, what are your expectations, and what do you think the market will start the year 2024 with? Precisely, that's on Tuesday. How do you see the market opening on Tuesday?
Okay, first of all, I expect for the market to see a little bit of some MOC, that market on close order, on the buy side today. I won't be surprised if I see some big caps that have actually lagged in recent times, try to take their own fair share of gains as we close the year on a high. Of course, we witnessed some positive movements in FTN Nigeria, and it's not going to be surprising to see maybe your BOA saying, your DAG saying, a little bit of movement in Lafarge, Waco, particularly among the industrial goods, because they've not really done much this year, about 12% or thereabout year to date, unlike other sectors that have busted numbers, all over 100% in the banks. You have about 100% among the consumer goods, likely to impressive performance to find in BOA Food, Dank Sugar, and Mascom. So you expect to see the market to close positive today, and positivity can be a strong one. And for January next year, of course, you would expect investors to continue to pay close attention to some of the names, big names that have not really moved. Of course, a lot is going to happen also in the banking space. The capital raise that is going to come across the board, both the tier one and also the fringe bank are looking forward to raising capital. So there's going to be a lot of movement happening in those names. Of course, Wema Bank rights issue is closing today, and there's going to be a lot of excitement starting from Tuesday, which is expected to.
Impressive. So I think, Abiodun, we'll leave it there. And of course, we definitely would look out for this, your positive projections for the market's close for 2023 and a positive start in 2024. So thank you for that analysis. That was Abiodun Adedotun, equity trader at FBN Quest, giving us details about the Nigerian stock market, the barometer of the economy.
Yeah, we've done very well this year. Very impressive. From 50s.
Yes.
We started the year with the index at about 50.
About 50,000.
And now, I mean, we're at 74. Even if we do lose today, there's profit taking. I mean, is either we still do 74 or 73. That's a long way from where we started the year from. So I think investors, and these are domestic investors, mostly.
Local investors,
Yeah, so I mean, congratulations to us.
And at the same time, we're not doing too badly. Number 7 on the global stock market performance index. I say
we could be number 1. We could be number 1.
We've been number 1 before.
But we'll celebrate our little wins.
Just like Channels has been number 16 for a record.
Yeah, all right, Anete.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Now let's head to the crypto space. Well, it's the final trading day or working day, because for crypto the market is always right there. So I was hoping Ladi will be here, but he decided to snub us. We'll see how that goes. We'll try to do without Ladi. Look at the numbers. The market is still greedy. Investors are greedy. It's still a good time for you to profit take if that's what you want. So we see it here at 65. That's it. But let's look at the prices now. I think we may not have so much joy right there, because we say Bitcoin is down more than 1%. Is now at 42,716.5. To Ethereum is obviously also down. I mean, the king of crypto. So it's also down more than 1%. BNB is also down. Cardano is also down. There you have it, almost 4%. That's a very big one that dropped right there. XRP is also down. Now we have Adeniulo Poroko joining us now to tell us perhaps what's going on in the market, especially because I saw news some time ago, earlier today, that about $1 billion has been removed from the exchange, and that's the biggest single day withdrawal from exchanges, not just one of them, from exchanges. I mean, are people drawing out money to spend at this period? But Adeni, good morning and compliments of the season.
Good morning and compliment of the season to you.
Yeah, so what do we connect these drops to, especially the $1 billion, the biggest single day withdrawal on the exchanges?
We're actually in the bull market, so there's a lot of excitement. For the past 2 weeks, many people in the crypto space have been smiling to the bank as the market has gone up drastically. So I'm not surprised that many people are looking towards withdrawing some of their profits before the start of the new year. And that's the major reason for that huge withdrawal, because there have been a lot of profits taken in the past 1 to 2 weeks, especially from Solana and BNB. So it's normal for the markets to just have what we call a brief correction. That's why you see that some of those tokens are down in the past 24 hours.
And then we see even Solana, that's supposed to be the king for this year, going above $100, now has dipped below $100.
Yeah, it's just the market correcting itself. For example, we saw what happened with Solana about 3 months ago. Solana was less than $20 and now is above $100. So we all know that when you check the trading charts, the market cannot just continue to go up. But it's actually a great sign, because throughout the year, we had a bearish market where most of the coins were just stagnant. But now we've seen an uptick, and it's normal for the market to rest, and we're expecting better returns for next year.
Do you see Bitcoin recovering before 31st? I mean, this is a market that doesn't sleep. So even though it's the final working day or trading day for crypto, is still on. You see it recovering, before 31st or by 31st?
I don't really see it recovering, because what we're expecting now is the approval of Bitcoin ETF, that's exchange and traded funds, and that's likely to happen by the second week of January. So the market is likely to be around 40K to below 40K before the expected announcement, and then we can expect a slight bull run before the halving. I think it's just about 112 days to the halving, and after the halving, I'm expecting Bitcoin to probably pump to 60K.
When do you see it getting to that 60K? What time of the year? First half, second half, first quarter?
The halving is likely to be in the second quarter of the year. So I'm expecting after the halving. So let's be looking at towards the end of second quarter.
All right, Adeni. Well, would you say this is, I know that it's a bull market, so obviously it shouldn't be a good time for entry into the market. If you have missed this opportunity, you wait till after the halving, before you come in, I guess.
Yeah, we're actually in the bull market, but we are still early, because the bull market just started a month ago. So many of the tokens are still relatively low. So if you're able to do your analysis properly and take control, one of the things that I've noticed is that the tokens that are making good gains are tokens that you build things on top, or tokens that have utility, as I said, Solana, BNB, even Cardano. So it's still early, and I believe that we are going to see much more pumps by next year when the news of the Bitcoin ETF arrives and after the halving.
All right, Adeni. Well, we're going to the weekend, we're going to a new year, but thank you so much for your thoughts. Of course, we are looking forward to that halving and see how, that will end. That will be for investors. Some people expect otherwise, some people expect some kind of negativity. But you're on the positive side. You think that Bitcoin will hit 60? Yes.
Yeah, I actually believe that, hopefully.
All right, thank you so much, Oluwaporoko Adeniyi, for your time this morning. Enjoy the rest of 2023 and bounce into 2024.
Thank you, and have a great day.
All right, so that's it on the program for this year, 2023. This is the final episode of Business Morning for 2023. We're so glad that you made it with us. You were part of this from January to December. We thank God for keeping us alive. We thank God for his protection. And we thank God, for giving you the means to always tune on your television, go to YouTube and watch Business Morning. We're grateful to God for that, and we're grateful to you. We hope to do a better journey in 2024, even as we come to a close of 2023. And we hope to have better conversations of progress is what we hope to have in Nigeria. Well, that's Anita once again jumping out of the car before time. So we want to have some people who make this happen. We're talking about Business Morning. There's so many people behind the scenes, the camera and the master control room, the director, the guy at the audio, even those who make me look beautiful every day. I really appreciate it. So we'll have some of them join us now. Can I have my drink?
That's yours.
So this is Anete, Anete, and then we have Olaleye. Olaleye is our hands and our feet. Olaleye, please come this way. Thank you so much. Olaleye is our hands, our feet. He's the one who does a lot of running behind the scene. If you're a guest via Zoom, it's Olaleye who would test the guests. And then Soji, the camera guy, sneaks in from another side. So Olaleye is he's the one who does the test. There's a lot of technicalities going on behind the scene. He's the one who handles that. Olaleye, it'd be good to hear your voice. Okay. Unfortunately, he doesn't. Could you speak loud? Maybe my microphone.
Thank you very much.
He's shy in front of the camera, but very efficient, behind the camera. Olaleye, well done. We appreciate you. We appreciate all that you do. We have Joseph. He's one of the directors here in Channels Television. Incidentally, he's the director today on the show. Joseph, well done. And thank you so much for making us look good for our viewers. Of course, we do have the camera people. We have a female camera lady, our favorite,
She calls herself a cameraman.
Yes, because she's the only female camera person. That's Bidemi. We're very proud of her with the ladies, and she does a very good job. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of that. There are a whole lot of people behind the scene, I tell you. Well, those behind the scene also put those two. I know you know that. We don't want to take Ladi because he refused to come in today to do his crypto, so we did not want you, Ladi. We did not want you to be a part of our party.
On that conversation. I wanted to jump on that conversation so bad, but I had to hold myself.
So Ladi and Will, this is the last Business Morning for 2023. So I'm sure you have some words for your viewers who have been with you from January till now.
Yeah, it's been an incredible run in 2023. Covering global markets, covering economic issues in Nigeria, policy, and definitely, as you said, Denny, I'm hoping in 2024 we can report that Nigeria's inflation has dropped. We can report that our oil production has increased, and we're getting so much revenue and getting all of that dollars in 2024. I'm hoping for the best in 2024, and thank you to all our viewers that have kept with us, watching our shows and taking in all our content. We're really grateful, and all the teams in Channels Television, thank you so much. It's been great working with you.
Will?
Hi, everyone. I just want to say super thank you to our audience. I want to say super thanks to the team behind the scenes for making Channels Television Business Desk, Business Research Group. As Nyete has said, we are a driving force, and we hope to scale through this year. Well, we have already scaled through this year, 2023, and we hope to get through 2024 with a bang. And we're going to be bringing the markets to you. The market is already doing so great, and we hope that Nigeria continues to stay up, because that's where we ought to be. And Ini, I just want to say the year has been phenomenal. I didn't even know 2023 has come to a close because this has been just a wonderful time with you guys and with our guests that made it also easy. That are like, oh, 2023 is gone already. 2024 is coming next, and we'll all be smiling and bringing on our A games.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. And so, signing out, it's the ringing bell from Business Morning. Have a great New Year. See you in 2024.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.